Welcome to Sex with Rebecca, a show geared towards relationships and sexuality that'll help you enjoy your relationships more than you ever thought possible. So send us your difficult questions and we'll bring you expert answers unlike anywhere else. On tonight's show, we'll be discussing how to have bigger, better orgasms, answering an email on love addiction, and giving you some hot ideas to ensure that your love life keeps you warm through cold months. Let's begin with our discussion on orgasms with our special guest, sex coach and educator, Carlisle Jansen. Welcome, Carlisle.
Hi, it's always a pleasure.
Likewise, I have so much fun. We do these fun, sexy things. How can you go wrong, right? It's always a huge, huge pleasure to have you here, particularly when you're talking about hugely pleasurable things. Let's get right into it. What are some of the challenges that prevent people from having the best orgasms that they can have? And how do you suggest they work around those?
So a lot of people get distracted. So they're there and they're thinking about, am I doing right? Do I look good? Do I taste good? Am I taking too long? The paint is peeling off the ceiling. I should get that fixed. Don't forget to take the laundry out later, right? And so all of these things distract us. And we're not feeling what's going on here. We're actually in our heads thinking about something else.
Instead of being in our body.
Yes, and on top of that, if we get a little bit anxious, am I doing it right? Am I going to lose my erection? Am I going to ejaculate too quickly? Our body goes from rest and digest, where the blood's flowing, into fight or flight. And fight or flight is our ancient brain that says, it's danger, there's a bear chasing me, not a good time to have an orgasm.
And the blood vessels constrict too.
Right, exactly.
So much for men being able to maintain an erection. I mean, that's a killer for sure.
Yes, and all of the blood that you worked so hard to get down into the genital region leaves so that you can run away from the bear. Even though there's no bear.
It's in your feet, it's in your hands, but it's not there.
And so all of the pleasure that was there is gone. And so if you're worried that you're going to ejaculate too quickly, if you think, uh-oh, I'm going to ejaculate too quickly, guess what? The brain's going to make you ejaculate so that you lose the erection.
That's right.
So you want to try and stay focused and present in order to actually feel what's going on and really notice the sensations.
Which is a wonderful thing, obviously. And I think the other thing too is if the blood vessels don't constrict, everything is engorged. So it feels so much better. It's so much more delightful. I guess staying focused, as you said, is a must. Now, can you discuss some of the ways that people can do that?
So I often describe it like eating a truffle. Imagine if I gave you the last chocolate truffle that you're ever going to get in your entire life, right? And how much you're going to savor it and notice the soft and the hard and the crunchy. And you just be so into that, there's no room in your head to be worried about whether you're doing it right. So this is what I envision, is that like when you're having sex, just how much can you feel on the top and the sides and bottom and around, so that there's no room in your head to worry about, am I doing it right? Is it going to happen?
You're savoring it.
You're savoring it and you're in that moment. And I find that, like, I still get distracted sometimes. I'm thinking about something else. I'm like, oh, right, I'm having sex. Focus. And notice the sensations. And then I find that then, oh, all of a sudden, I'm not distracted. I'm just in the moment. And, oh, there it is.
And there it is. And I think we can concentrate on our breathing as well. I like the last truffle example, because even Giacomo Casanova said that if he pretended like he was making love for the very last time, he was so focused on it, and of course it made sure that it wasn't the last time. Right. How about requesting what you need, from positions to lube, toys, or simply just take a little bit extra time? What does that look like?
So sometimes we need a little bit of extra help. Sometimes a partner's penis, fingers, tongue is just not enough. And sometimes we need a little bit of help. So
that's a lot of bit of help.
Sometimes you need just a little
bit of help.
This does not go inside the vagina, just to be clear. But some people need glasses to see. Some people need a calculator to do math. Some people need a vibrator in order to orgasm, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people need a little bit of extra lubrication. And so adding some lube so that it feels good. Not everybody lubricates as much as everybody else. Right. So a little bit of added lubrication, especially if you've had a lot of alcohol, you're on certain medications, or you're nervous and your mouth goes dry.
Yes,
same
of course,
thing.
Everything is going to happen over there as well.
And so just taking that time and letting your partner know, you know, sometimes I feel a little bit anxious. I get worried that I take longer than you, or I'm worried that I should give you the tap because you've been down there for so long. And make sure that your partner knows you know, I love giving you oral pleasure. I
That's
love taking my
important.
time. There's no rush. And to really enjoy that together as though you're making love for the last time or for the first time. You're rediscovering each other. What's new?
And I think that's really, really good if you say, I'm really enjoying doing this for you, so you're not feeling, oh my gosh, you know, you must be so upset, because then you're in the head, which is what you've been talking about. Still ahead, some amazing tips on enhancing orgasms. I know you'll want to stick around for that. Welcome back to Sex with Rebecca, geared towards making your relationships more robust than you ever thought possible. So send us your questions and we'd love to bring you expert advice. Today's question is from Madeline. I've heard you talk about love addiction a few times. It sounds like me because I totally lose myself in relationships and then can't let go even long after everything's said and done. Can you please tell me a bit more about love addiction? Signed, Madeline. Madeline, it takes guts to acknowledge an addiction or self-defeating patterns for that matter. So I applaud you for that. Now on to what exactly is love addiction. Some describe love addiction as a condition characterized by severe, pervasive, and excessive interest toward a romantic partner, which may actually be a form of an attachment disorder. And as you well know, one can stay in a dysfunctional relationship even when it's harmful and pine away long after a breakup, despite knowing that the relationship's over. A common characteristic of such relationships is a lack of control, i.e. becoming obsessed with someone in a maladaptive way to the detriment of other interests, resulting in a significant impact on one's overall functionality. This can often develop as a byproduct of one focusing on someone else in order to avoid dealing with their own fears and insecurities. But when someone else is the center of your world, you end up feeling that you can't survive without them. So you're willing to do and endure anything to become the person that you think they want you to be, because you keep hoping for their validation as an antidote to the emptiness you feel inside. FYI, the groundwork for this may well have been laid when you were a child. For example, if while growing up, one is made to feel that they're not enough, then they start to feel and behave that way, which can then create a destructive emotional hook that replays that old message over and over and over again, thereby fueling the obsessive pattern. In other words, you end up being traumatically bonded, i.e. you connect being hurt with being loved, and therefore become addicted to the hurt itself, and thus the cycle continues. Now on to recovery. The process of recovery requires a shift in commitment from your partner's needs to your own, even if it means ending the relationship. Furthermore, you need to learn to recognize and choose emotionally healthy people for your future relationships. Once you find yourself in healthy relationships, you'll notice that they'll nurture your inner growth, bolster your self-esteem, and teach you what it feels like to be in an emotionally safe relationship. But since it might feel like a daunting task, I'd like to suggest that you seek out a therapist who specializes in such issues to help you with the process. Beyond that, there's always self-help groups, cognitive behavior therapy, psychodynamic psychotherapy, or going to 12-step meetings for love and sex addicts. And there's also certain meds like serotonin reuptake inhibitors and or antidepressants that can treat those obsessive thoughts, mood stabilizers to treat mood instability, and oxytocin or vasopressin for treating impaired attachments. I know it sounds like a lot, but since you've taken the toughest first step, i.e. recognizing that something's off and you need help with it, you're well on your way. Just promise me that you'll follow through on some of my suggestions so you can enjoy healthy relationships and stop losing yourself into other people or confusing intensity with intimacy. It's worth the effort. Like I often say, do something for yourself today that your future self will thank you for. Good luck to you, Madeline. To our audience, if you have any questions of your own, do write us. We love your involvement. Speaking of which, if you like the show, we'd really like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If we have enough people connecting with us there, we'll be uploading additional stuff that's too hot to be aired on TV. So do help us make that happen. Still ahead, our discussion about bigger, better orgasms continues, so do stick around for that. Welcome back to Sex with Rebecca show, where we bring you expert advice on important matters to help your relationships be more intimate, exciting, and emotionally fulfilling. We're discussing bigger, better orgasms with sex coach and educator Carlisle Jansen. Carlisle, I'm sure our audience are waiting with bated breath, so let's give them some tips on how to get to that breathless place.
Yeah, it's just a few simple techniques can really ramp it up. So you mentioned earlier breathing. Just breathing deeply makes a huge difference, and maintaining eye contact. A lot of people find that if they make eye contact, it just intensifies what's going on. And even if you can't do it through the whole orgasm, even through the build-up is helpful.
And it allows you to stay infinitely connected.
Right.
And with the breathing, I say to people, if you're focusing on your breathing, again, what you've been saying, you're in your body, your mind is not going all over the place, worrying about some of the things that get in the way.
Right.
Now, tell us about other things. I mean, I've often heard you talk about edging, making sounds, mixing it up. So tell us all about all that.
Yeah, making sounds makes a huge difference. You feel more when you make sounds.
Absolutely.
And so not just kind of like a, you know, like you're afraid of going over the edge, right? You want it to come from like down here, right? Like, okay, you know? Because if you're holding back your sound, you're holding back your whole body's experience of the pleasure. And edging is like where you get close to orgasm and then you back off. And maybe you stimulate a different area, close to orgasm and back off. And so if you do that, by the time you get to the orgasm itself, it's going to be that much more powerful, and it's going to involve so much more of your body.
And it's that build-up, isn't it?
Right.
Like you said, the truffle example, you know, you don't want to just gobble it up in one bite. You want to just savor it. And I think that's another way to the way you're describing it. If you're focusing on taking it to the edge and taking it back, then again, your mind is focused on the body and it's not in your head. What about multiple orgasms? How does that work?
So for women or people with vaginas and vulvas, I have my vulva puppet to illustrate. So here's the clitoris, here's the inner labia. This is the area that you often will see when you spread your legs. So the clitoris, when we orgasm, is often like, too intense, right? Don't touch me anymore. So you want to go here, between the inner and the outer lips. This is not too sensitive. And if you go here after the orgasm, rather than the arousal plunging so much, you'll stay up there and be able to go to the next one.
And that's such a wonderful area. There's so many nerve endings there, and it's not so sensitive that you're going like this.
Yeah, a little bit of lube will make that glide.
With that area as the orgasm is happening.
Right, as soon as it gets sensitive, go here. Stay off of the clit and go here.
And just go there. What about men?
So for men, what they want to practice is the stop and start technique. So before they hit, you know, that point of no return where no matter what you do, that train is coming, nothing's going to stop it.
Like an 8 or 9 in the scale of 0 to 10, right? You can't stop it at that point.
So you want to squeeze somewhere along the bottom and the top. And what that does is it allows the arousal to back off and then build up again. So that will help to delay things. So if you want to take a little bit longer, you want to squeeze.
So that's even good for someone who struggles with premature ejaculation, which is 1 in 3 men.
Yep, absolutely. So squeezing somewhere along here. And then if you want to have an orgasm and not an ejaculation, because ejaculation is what makes you fall asleep, then what you want to do is bring yourself close to orgasm and just cross over into orgasm, squeeze, but not have the ejaculation. So there's some breathing techniques and different processes that you can learn, but starting with a stop and start and then bring yourself to orgasm and just stopping right before the ejaculation, and you'll have multiple orgasms.
That's awesome. A lot of times men confuse orgasm and ejaculation, like it has to happen at the same time. But once you kind of ejaculate, it's over. So just go into the orgasm, but don't let the ejaculation happen.
Right. They're within 1 second of each other, so they feel like they're the same thing.
It's
but once you learn how to separate it, then you can play with it and have lots more fun.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm glad that you broke that myth, because people say that men can't have multiple orgasms. So I'm really glad that you gave our audience something to think about in terms of, I mean, who wouldn't want, if you want like one of something, you want lots more of it. So from everything you're suggesting, I'm hearing all sorts of stuff about, you know, taking responsibility and, you know, giving some feedback so you're not setting yourself up for any kind of disappointment. So thank you for all this great information on taking charge and getting involved. When we return, some final tips on making your orgasms the best that they can be. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Sex with Rebecca, a show geared towards making your relationships the best they can be, both in and out of the bedroom. We've been discussing bigger, better orgasms with Carlisle Jansen. Carlisle, before we wrap up this interview, I want you to give us your best tips for both sides to take that couple experience to new heights.
So part of that is always getting to know your body and learning new erogenous zones, right? What are areas that are going to feel better so that you add some variety to what you're doing. And also when you're feeling aroused, a lot of people, they tend to like squeeze and they tense up, and that actually stunts the orgasm. It stunts the pleasure. So you want to relax, especially your legs and your tummy. But what you do want to contract is your pelvic floor. So everybody has a pelvic floor. Most women hear about it around pregnancy and childbirth, but men have them too. And if you can squeeze those muscles, those are the muscles that sandwich all of your erectile tissue. Squeezing those and relaxing is kind of like a pump that keeps the arousal going. And if you can squeeze that when you're getting close to orgasm, that's going to make a huge difference for stimulating on the inside and giving you that much more intensity.
So relaxing everything else, but really squeezing that area, focusing on it. Now, one of the things that can be an issue is sometimes people don't know themselves what they like. And you've written a book for women, if you don't know your body. And even if you know our body, what felt good yesterday or 2 years ago may not feel good. So it's always a good idea to explore, and a lot of fun. I like that kind of homework. So can you give us a very quick Reader's Digest version of what your book is all about? It's called Sex Yourself, which is a good title to remember. Yeah,
so Sex Yourself, the focus is on self-pleasure for women. And so it covers anatomy, where all the G-spot and the A-spot and the U-spot are, how to stimulate them.
All the key spots.
Yep, lots of techniques so that you, because a lot of people say, well, I don't know what to do. So it gives you techniques to try. You can share those with a partner. It talks about toys. It talks about how to have solo sex with a partner to kind of spice up your partner relationship.
And the partner can watch you.
That's can watch.
Very erogenous.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what else would you like to leave us with our audience with some hot tips on? So one is relax and tense up that area, and it acts like a pump. The other thing you had said was, you know, kind of giving feedback, breathing,
sounds, absolutely,
and being in your body. Anything else that you want to tell our audience, especially for partnered sex?
So for partnered sex, what I would say is make sure that you focus on what you want and communicate that. Sometimes we're afraid to talk to our partners and we don't want to hurt their feelings. So even just saying, can you go a little to the left? Can you go a little harder? Can you go a little softer? Any way to bring that, let them know what's going on.
So know what you know and let them know. Thank you so much, Carlisle. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and for you offering us all these remarkable insights. Still ahead, our final segment on some fine equipment to get the best out of your own equipment. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our final segment where we give you some saucy tips to make your bounce chick wow wow a little bit hotter. Tonight, my in-house guest is Erin Worgan from BMS Enterprises.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's always so great to see you.
You too.
Now, you've brought us some stuff, but tell us a little bit about BMS.
Yeah, so BMS, we're located right here in Toronto. We're a manufacturer of adult pleasure products, high quality silicone toys.
Very much so. I can certainly attest for that, yeah.
Yeah, and we're also a chain of stores called Aren't We Naughty, and a distributor. So we kind of cover all the bases.
All pieces of that. And you know what I've noticed is that your toys, they're not just highly functional and they do the right thing, they're also very pretty. So tell us what you've brought today.
Yes.
They're so aesthetically beautiful.
So our brand new line is called Pillow Talk, and you're exactly right. They're just so pretty.
They're gorgeous. What is that little thing there?
So each one comes with a certified Swarovski crystal.
Wow.
So it's got some bling right on the handle there.
Now that's the kind of jewelry I want. You can play with it. It's flashy.
Totally. So they're also
It's very
deceptively
powerful.
strong. They look cute and dainty, but they're actually very powerful. So it's just a press and hold. So it can get really...
Oh, it's like the original one, but much nicer.
Exactly.
And it's rechargeable.
Rechargeable.
Is it waterproof?
They're water resistant, so
They're
they're
water
good for
resistant,
cleaning.
great.
And yeah,
Awesome.
premium silicone.
And man, that's a lot of power.
It is.
That's
quite
incredible.
A bit. Yeah.
And then you have, what is that? A mini version of it, like a
So-
little baby?
Yeah. Well, this one's called the Flirty. So it's flirty, sassy, and cheeky. The sassy is the G-spot stimulator.
Because of the hook. Oh,
Yes.
that's really powerful.
It gets strong. So the Swarovski crystal with these two is in the base.
That's beautiful. My gosh, that's a major size of bling. So this is for G-spot stimulation, but you could even externally too. You can do
totally.
anything with it, and of course it can go inside as well. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, very, very powerful. And this is a discreet little one.
Yeah, so this is the Flirty bullet. It's rechargeable and just as strong as the others, but just a
Really?
little
So
compact
it's the
size.
same. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's cool too. I mean, if you want to throw one in your purse.
exactly. It's got the travel lock, so you can just bring it on the go, and
Oh, cool.
it's totally discreet.
So like when they say on the plane, you know, turn off your devices, I hope it doesn't apply to this
Yeah.
here, because these are awesome. Well, that's great stuff. So certainly Steve and Ida have really upped their game. So this is grade A silicone. It's got original Swarovski crystal, and the power, I can't believe that it's like really super
Very
powerful.
strong.
But it is going up, so you don't have to stop and push buttons. It just goes up on its own.
You can just pick your own speed, however
It's a
you'd like.
seamless thing.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah, it's brand new. It's already an international bestseller. And
Well,
yeah,
then I got to get me some.
totally.
Thank you so much for presenting us yet another set of beautiful toys by BMS, and for joining us, Erin. And thank you, viewers, for joining us tonight. Be sure to tune in again next week, and don't forget to email us your questions and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch up on missed episodes, watch your favorite shows again, and get a few extras that are too hot for TV. I'm Rebecca Rosenblatt, your host, wishing you healthy, happy, and passionate relationships. Until next time.